Welcome to the greatest show now with just as many Nazis as we had last week, which is 0. I'm DJ.
I'm Bob.
And my wife is that direction. Bob, do you see her right over there?
Oh, yeah.
You wave.
No, my wife is too.
I'm going to apologize up front because supper just arrived and I'm going to keep eating. So,
yeah. And I'm going to stare at him like I haven't eaten in weeks. Please, can I have some more, please? So yeah, there's like no snow showing anytime in the future here for us. We're looking at 49 degrees on Tuesday, 48 on Thursday, 54 on Friday.
well, you know,
It's gonna be as warm as here.
you get to experience time first, but when weather happens, it normally comes from our direction. So be prepared for that.
But we haven't gotten any of that snow that you guys have been getting.
Yet.
Any of it.
It's all stopping in North Dakota.
Yeah, and they're hoarders there. They're just keeping it all and not sending it on.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hoarders. God, how inconsiderate.
Oh, so Sunday we're supposed to get, on the day that's 47, a bit of sleep in the morning. That's okay. I get annoyed with people who bitch about winter all the time. Like, oh my gosh. Like, they make it sound like it's such a huge thing. Check this out. They'll be like, it was 4 degrees yesterday, but today it's 20 degrees. Yay, it's getting warmer. And it's like, yeah, it's still winter. It's going to get colder, and then it's going to get warmer, and then you're going to have a time. It's winter. Just because it's like those 47s that are there, that's not the end of it.
See, winter is like a woman who has a cycle, but except monthly, it happens annually. So when you go, yay, 20, it's getting warmer. Yeah, there's going to be a violent mood swing, and you're about to experience some bad shit.
Yeah, it is. Hey, so somebody just shared a link to the greatest episode, or the yeah, you got that link shared. Okay, cool.
How who does it say who?
You shared it.
I did.
Yeah. It just came up saying you shared it.
One of the pieces in here has a little bit of pineapple on it. Are you going to eat that one?
That piece of pizza, That's what I'm hearing.
Well, that's why I was wondering, because I if you want it, I'll just eat some breadsticks.
I will take breadsticks for you to take my pizza.
Okay.
So I posted on Facebook.
Meow.
Hmm?
Meow. 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 Meow.
Hang on, I'm in the middle of a fight, like a timed fight.
Meow. Meow. Meow.
Wow, that's cat talk, isn't it?
This the Simon's Cat episode. Do you know about Simon's Cat?
About what?
Simon's Cat. You want to Google that on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. He'd like that little like
it's a hand-drawn black and white.
Yeah, black and whitey thing. Yeah, I've seen that.
In one of them, the cat did something and like totally destroyed something, and then the cat goes meow, meow. So I've been doing that to her recently.
So another thing on Facebook was they were talking about the there's some people who say that the global warming's a crock of shit, and others say, oh no, it's totally real. And there's others that say things like it's real, but humans didn't do it. There's other ones say, oh no, humans did do it. Well, I comment on here. I actually commented that there's always the possibility that both sides are right. I know that sounds odd, but could we be experiencing a global warming that is not the fault of humans and is just part of a natural cycle that takes place over a timeline bigger than recorded history? The world may be entering a time where life dies off from the heat, like we know has happened before. Then in the cooling after allows a renewal and fresh start, just like happens every winter, but on a much grander scale. And I was told by this, somebody actually posted, a cycle implies something other than a radical shift. But if the radical shift happens on a, like, let's say, I don't know, it all of a sudden dropped 100 degrees. And then in 200 years goes up 200 degrees. And then in 200 years, even though it's a radical shift, is that not also a cycle? I mean, as long as it's a repeatable thing?
So here is how I can relate to what you're saying. So I am the other guy in, let's just say, professional wrestling conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the guy that always says, oh, we're just in a down cycle with professional wrestling. The ratings will go back up. And what I like to point out is, no, that's not how it works. We had one up. One up is not a cycle. That's once. It has to happen again for it to be a cycle. Or
when did that happen?
What?
When did it happen?
In the late 90s.
Okay, so let's say this year it goes up again. It's like it was in the 90s. And then in another 20 years, it does it again. Now all of a sudden you've got a cycle, right?
Yes.
But I mean, if it just happens once, ever, that's not a cycle. But the first time it happens again, if it's like that same time frame continuously happens, like you know what would make wrestling become really popular again? The same thing that has made so many things pop, like the movie Top Gun came out, and every motherfucker wanted to go play beach volleyball, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that was like a huge thing. They were making video games for it. They were making that became like a huge fucking thing. So if they make a badass movie that has wrestling in it, that's going to bring wrestling back. And that's one of the things that creates these weird cycles in trends and stuff is it's in a movie.
It's true.
Yeah. This cool person did it. So if I do it, I would equal cool person.
Hey, Bob.
What?
You want to go play some beach volleyball?
Yeah. You got to do that cool double high five thing.
Oh, dude. Did we not try to perfect that, or did I try that with somebody else?
I think everybody's tried to perfect that, because of Top Gun. There's either that one or the one where the step further when you high five and then you both lean forward and you grab the other person's ankle and
I don't like that one.
Me neither. But the double high, because of that movie, fucking let's all go play beach volleyball and high five each other.
I don't want to do the ankle one because recently I've been losing my balance just like randomly. So I'll be like standing on a stair putting mail in a box and be like, whoa!
And then you'll be laying on the stair wishing you put mail in the box.
No, I'll always catch myself. But I'm like, I've done nothing. I haven't shifted my weight. I'm completely on the platform. I'm not teetering on the edge of anything. It's just all of a sudden I want to fall. And I don't understand why.
That's crazy. I'm glad I didn't feel like that. I went skating yesterday. I'm a 41-year-old man on roller skates.
Wait, roller or blades?
Roller. Yeah.
Hey, wait, before you get into your story, viewer, if you want to chat with us, it's right behind me, tlk.io/thegreatestshow.
Yeah. Yes. I am a 41-year-old fat man on roller skates yesterday. So somebody said something about watching, oh, great, I get to watch you fall. And I'm like, you don't understand. If I go down, like a lot of people are also going down because remember the boulder scene from Indiana Jones? Same thing. Yeah, same thing. And I also am going to open up that link behind you.
Yeah, you are.
Because normally I have it up by now.
Hey,
however,
guess what happens in like 3.5 days? I will also be 41.
Oh, right. I added that to my book, but I lost.
I've been so fucking busy at work. I haven't had a chance to journal since Tuesday. I've got so much catch-up work to do tomorrow because I'm certainly not fucking doing it today.
I added something to my journal today. It's the kind of like rainbow.
Food me.
Food me?
Food.
Let me. I will draw a quick sketch with my awesome artistic abilities of what
And
my new
they're
symbol
all
is.
yours because you were so sweet to give me a piece of pizza.
Okay.
That's my new symbol that I put in my journal. That is a scale where I put my weight next to it.
That's good because I thought it was your butt cheeks pressed up against the window.
That's what I went off of when I was like,
Yeah, you did.
yeah. Yeah, I did. And so I also, something that I'm working on in there, I wish I grabbed that notebook, is I told you before about a storyline that I was working on for my D&D game, where we started out, the characters that we made were made with the D20 Modern system, and they were actually our names. It was us in the story, right? So we had to make the characters as close to us as we could. And then the idea was that we all went camping and we ended up fighting this thing that brought us into the Dungeons and Dragons world. So this key thing went back and forth between two worlds. It's actually three worlds, but they don't understand how to unlock the other worlds yet, because there's like a specific thing you have to do with each of these keys, and I've got these keys like randomly thrown into like both of our worlds, and people have to find them and then figure out what they do. Well, the idea that I had went terribly wrong when somebody was just kind of fucking off and like somehow shot down the entire quest with his actions. However, I decided to take that aspect out of it and just write a damn story with the idea that I had. So that's what I'm working on now. Is just write straight out, like writing a story of these people who are going back and forth. So I'm pretty excited about that. So now I'm trying to figure out like what all keys I should have in there, and what the keys should look like. Like the one that takes you back and forth between the worlds is a prism.
I don't know. I think a pyramid would be awesome.
I do have different style pyramids that are for other keys. Like one of them is a 5-sided pyramid. I mean 6 if you include the bottom, but it has like the really high walls. So you imagine like a really tall, skinny pyramid with 5 sides. All right, so you have a pentagon on the bottom, and then it comes up into points on top. So that actually can then be pulled out and like stuck into whatever keyhole in 5 different directions. That's actually the time key. Because what I did is that one, like one side is black, one side is white. Those are next to each other, and then there's shades of gray going all the way around, from black, from dark gray, light gray. So what that is like the middle one is the present time, and then there's 2 years past and not 2 years. There's 2 separate years past and 2 separate years future. So it's 5 years, 10 years, and then present. So you have like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's a hell of a jump, but it doesn't take you to a specific time. It's exactly 5 years from right now.
Now, here's a question.
So it would be like 1044 on January 14th of 2012.
But would it also be spatial? Does it take you to that date and time and in the right spot?
It's where that spot is.
Okay. Because everybody's like, sure, I want to travel back in time, but it's got to be a space thing too, because the Earth isn't going to be where I need it to be.
Right. Well, because there's going to be like weird shaped hole thing somewhere in one of the 2 worlds. So when you stick that key in, you are then at that same hole, but in a different time.
I like putting things in holes.
At a different time? So, yeah, that's one of them. And
I'm a man. It doesn't take long.
Wow.
That's why you derail a conversation.
Yeah. I'm saddened because I do have some crazy, awesome ideas when it comes to stories and stuff, but I've started, I don't know how many different stories, but then they just that's kind of it, I mean, I start some awesome stories.
That's my problem too, is I start and I never get anywhere. However, as part of my bullet journal, I am writing fiction for a novel, but I will also release it on the website.
Ooh, nice.
I have made 2 personal rules which I have not put into the book. First, I cannot go back and edit until I am done, which is my first fatal flaw. I will edit the fuck out of chapter 1, and I'll never get past it. So I'm not allowed to edit. And 2, I have it in the book when I'm doing this. So if I have a day off, or if it's Saturday, Sunday, like I put it on days off. So it just says write fiction, and it's not 10,000 character words. It's not 5,000 words. It's not that. It's just write. Now, the first time I wrote, I got maybe 300 to 500 words into it. And then I kind of petered out because it felt like I was forcing it. And then the second time I did it, I busted out almost 3,000 words because I was totally into it and going. And I'm actually looking forward to doing it, which should be again tomorrow, I believe. This week got screwed up because I got drafted to work today. What that means is they needed a body per route, basically. And, well, I'm the body for my route. So I don't know what I had in the book for today, but I mean, because I worked, it's going to derail whatever I had anyway, because I wasn't here to do it.
Yeah. Now, like, I even had some, I told you some of the ideas that I had with the superhero characters and stuff, and I had like a very basis for like a whole bunch of, and I thought was really creative. Here's the thing that's weird about superheroes. Superheroes are tough because there are so many people who write for superheroes that if you think, wow, nobody has ever done anything like this ever before, you're probably wrong. It's probably happened. Somebody's probably thought of it because there's so many people who are writing that thing.
What I'm doing in the superhero realm is different, because I'm approaching it from the aspect of knowing what you just explained is probably happening. So let's use random examples here. I love Captain Marvel / Shazam. Okay, so that's my favorite character. Okay?
Yeah.
I would really love to write for that character in a comic book. But nobody knows who I am, so obviously that's not going to happen. So what I would do, well, thank you.
I know.
So what I would do is I would create my own knockoff version and do what I wanted to write in the first place. And then if somebody sees that and goes, hey, that's kind of like Shazam, but it's a different character and you're doing interesting things with it, maybe do you want to come write for the character that you're knocking off? And I'll be like, sure. So don't try to do something that nobody's ever done. Well, and actually the saying that you need to hear is don't try to be like the masters. Or don't seek to be like the masters. Seek what the masters sought.
That's cool. Speaking of which, I got an invite again today. My dad's talked to me a few times about becoming a Mason. I think I'm going to do that. That sounds something. It sounds like it's a cool thing.
The thing that, and then off air, I will ask you all kinds of questions. But the thing that bothers me about that is it seems a little bit more, I know that they say that they're not religious, but it seems a lot more religious than I'm comfortable being.
The one sect is very religious. You actually like pick a kind of a path thing, from what I understand. There's like the Scottish Rite, and then like I don't even remember what they were, but I've heard some stuff, and it sounds really cool. My dad was only became a Mason because he wanted to be a Shriner, and so he's a Shriner now. And I don't know if I'm going to go that route. I might, but you can't be a Shriner without being a Mason.
Well, here's the other thing that I think happens. So if your dad is, let's say, Scottish Rite, and that's where he brings you, you are now Scottish Rite.
I don't know. I think so. But that's not something, he doesn't bring anything. He'll like, once you're in, you actually choose like the, because he's in the county one, and he said that I can choose to be in the town one. So he's like in a. But yeah, once you're in, you choose the one that you want, and then you choose. It's like making a D&D character. Then like you choose your path, and then once you choose your path, then like later on, once you hit level 16, not in the Masons, but in D&D, once you hit a certain level, then you get to make like a special class based off of your class. I don't remember what it's called for some reason. Prestige class in D&D. It's kind of like that. So like once you get to a certain point, there's another branch. And then within there, there's places that you can go. So, I mean.
Like I said, if you decide to do that, I got questions for you. I won't ask you for any deep, dark secrets of the universe. I have other questions.
Oh, I don't know secrets. I make shit up.
Well, now, but you're going to
Oh,
know.
yeah, I might later. Yeah. I've got friends that I was explaining to him. It's funny that every time anything comes up about Masons, for some reason, people talk about Masons and the Illuminati in the same way, even though they're nothing alike at all, other than the fact that they're kind of secret-y. And by secret,
what they have in common is that people don't understand either one of them, so they lump them together.
And
right.
there's a prevailing theory that the Illuminati are all Masons. So, I mean, there's that.
Quite possible. Yeah. A friend of mine is like very insistent that all Illuminati are very, very evil, and it's a secret society. And I seen a thing on Facebook. Somebody posted, "Is the Illuminati real?" And it showed like the symbol thing, and like one after another, like, "Oh, it's definitely real, and they're evil." It was like one post after another that said basically that. And I'm like, this ultra secret organization, you know that they exist, and you know that they're evil for some. But what do you base that on?
A 2d6.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's kind of a fucked up thought.
Only you, Bob, would just roll with that. Oh yeah, that's totally
Holy
cool.
I came up with 12. So
snake eyes.
The problem is not knowing what they do. Look at the government. The government does some fucked up shit. But because we don't see the big picture of what the government does, they might do things that seem really, really fucked up, but they've got a purpose. They've got a goal. We don't know about it. Why? Because we're not part of the government. And it might be the same thing. Like some of the things that an organization does might seem evil and fucked up. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Kind of crazy. I should grab my notebook. I'm going to grab my notebook and my mouse.
Okay, that sounds great. I got a cat, everybody.
Yeah, you okay?
I got a kitty, Mau.
Okay. I was a little nervous because I said mouse with a cat on your lap. I figured somebody was going to get their eye scratched out.
She doesn't know what that word is.
It's the thing attached to your computer, isn't it? Yeah. I'll be right back.
Just a kitty, Mau. Yes, my kitty baby mama. Baby kitty gets a chin rubbins. Your baby kitty. Oh, the baby kitty. She is not a Nazi terrorist at all. No. But her name is ISIS. Yes, it is. Nazi terrorist ISIS. I've just triggered some sort of government thing. But she's the bomb, really. For those of you not following sumo, Kisena Sato and Hakuho are currently leading after day 7, both with 7 wins, no losses. Very exciting. Kisena Sato is an Ozeki, which is the 2nd level of the ranks, and Hakuho is a Yokozuna, which is the grand champion, so the top of the ranks. So I'm very much interested in watching someone become a Yokozuna. But Kisena Sato's already had a run. He needs to kind of win this one to start another run. So we'll go from there. But hi, Bob.
Hi. Is it my mouse?
Yeah.
Is it my notebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, one thing.
You want flippers? Ready? Like I can't tell if you're pointing at the that bottle of root beer
Oh, sorry.
with both your foot and your hand, or
Kitty. Whoa, lost Kitty.
Bye, kitty.
slippers.
So I might have told you about this story. It was the idea that everybody has superpowers.
And people want to figure out how to make it into work.
No, no. I know the one that you're talking about, which was pretty cool. But just like, yeah, the one you're talking about, that there's powers everywhere, and people are like, why fight crime? Why can't I use the ability of flight to help work on a skyrise? And so that people are just going about their daily lives using their powers. But no, this one here is different. This is the idea of that everybody has powers, but you might not realize you have powers. Like if you have the power to totally manipulate and control lava with your thought, but you've never been around lava ever. So the idea is that everybody has powers, but a lot of people don't know what their powers are, just because, like, you might be able to fly, but you've never stepped off anything high enough that would allow you to float.
Bob, like, you and I both know that in order to fly, you throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yes. Yeah. But if you try to miss, you'll fail. You have to actually try to hit the planet and get sidetracked at the last moment.
I am currently trying to perceive time non-linearly. So I want to see time as it is, just a bubble of stuff going on all at the same time.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I'm working really hard at it. If I figure it out, I will let you know, because I'll be standing next to you in no time at all.
That'd be really cool. That would be an amazing power, is being able to see. That would essentially be the godlike power of looking down at the timeline, like seeing everything happening, like from up above, looking at the timeline. That would
I'm probably coming up with a story idea that I should really flesh out, but I think that it would. I mean, I understand the concept, but instead of looking down on the timeline, until you learn how to control it, you are literally experiencing everything at once, because you don't know. I mean, you're trying to focus, but things are all over the place. But now that you can see everything, you don't know what to do.
What did they call that guy? What did they call him? Unicorn from the Men in Black, the third Men in Black one?
I never saw the third Men in Black.
He was able to see, like, not just our timeline, but alternate timelines. Like he said, oh yeah, we'll be fine unless you drank chocolate milk this morning. Because if that's the timeline we're in, he's about to come in that door and kill 3 people, and then all of a sudden it happened because you know that he drank chocolate milk in that morning. So I mean, it's like he sees, like, not just our timeline, but every possible timeline. It's worth seeing. That just for that guy alone is pretty cool. Okay, so the other story that I had, I really like the superhero scenarios. So this one here is based off of the idea of people are all of a sudden being saved around town. Like somebody's being robbed, and here she is, like all expecting to get shot, when like the noise stops and there's the guy who was attacking her laying there knocked the fuck out, and there was nobody there. Well, it was the idea. Okay, so scientists had created this pill to make you have superpowers, right? Or a shot, or whatever it is.
And it wears off after a while.
Exactly.
And does it?
What would you do if you've invented a pill to give you superpowers? Would you sell it? What would you do with that?
I would probably keep it to myself.
That's what they do. There's 5 of them, I think. Yeah.
And do they get random powers, or is it the same power all the time?
I don't remember. I think I went with random. Or I either went with random, or the idea of like you have a chance of getting it or something. I don't remember what it was, but I had like so many different ideas going that I don't remember like where I decided that I wanted to go with it.
Because I like the idea that if you take a pill, because of your specific body chemistry, you've got a certain set of stuff that you can do, but until you alter your body chemistry wildly, you really can't do anything else.
That's pretty neat though, right?
Right. I'm going to patent that idea, so if you write that, I get part of the proceeds. Anyone else, if you write that, you have to give me a little bit of the moolah.
Or if you want to give us moolah just for fun, forward it to Bob at.
No, actually, if they go to emeraldspectre.com, they can donate to the Patreon because we actually have one.
Where you'll get the extra bonus features of the show where you get to also watch us through the show, but you'll feel better about yourself.
Yes, and I mean, maybe we can do some special stuff in the future.
That'd be cool. Like having shows that are only available for those people.
Yeah, there's a way I can set up YouTube to where I can have an alternate channel that you subscribe to, and we would really have to be dedicated to. I mean, it wouldn't be just hey, let's have a show. It would be let's have a show, and then after the show, we got the Patreon show.
Yeah. Right now, we don't have that side of dedication because if 50,000 people wanted to watch our show, we got some shit to say. We're not holding favorites here. If you want to watch our show, you watch our show, Bob. Damn it.
But
because you're awesome.
If 50,000 people each donated $2, you and I could both work just podcast exclusively because that would be our income. And I say $2 because then it's $100,000 that's being donated, and then I would get half of it, and you would get half of it.
That's true. And if that was a yearly donation, I'll tell you what. Here's what we would do. If that was a yearly donation like that, then what we would do, we would have to supply something for this. We would have to do like at least an hour show every single day except for Saturday, possibly Sunday, because some people go to church. I mean, not me, but some people might.
I would say that if we get $100,000 a year, that we're doing a Monday through Friday with an occasional Saturday special.
That sounds good. So you heard it here first, guys. Yeah, tell your friends.
And when you tell your friends, let us know you told your friends because we've got 0 viewers at the moment.
Yeah.
Kitty mom. So, Bob, I was talking to my kitty while you were gone. My kitty's name is Isis. She is a little terror and can be a terrorist, but she is the bomb. So once again, I have set off some sort of government alert, having rattled off all the key words: ISIS, terror, terrorist, bomb.
Nice.
Right. But it's just a cat, and she's cool.
That does not explode.
No. Well, I mean, she can explode, but she doesn't create shrapnel. She just creates scratches. You know, right, kitty mama? Yes.
Or is that kitty boom boom?
No, it's kitty mama. That's meow meow, but we've shortened it to mama. M-A-U. Mama.
Hey, first, so something happened at the show. It's too bad. Can I turn off the volume on this so I can see what? Oh, no, I can't. Go away. Shh.
What show? What show?
This is a. Where is this? So Chris Cage is the news guy, not the news guy. He's got a radio show on our local station. And I don't know what it is about this that's so new. Everybody's singing and dancing. He does karaoke a few times a week. He's pretty cool. Like the show that he does, he's funny, but it's nothing like. It's kind of like the old Bob Saget thing. He's amusing, but if you watch him when he's not on TV, like holy shit, you know it's an entirely different person. Well, he's at a bar here. He posted that. So this just happened at the Silver Inn, a first for me. One of my shows. So I don't know what it is that actually happened. I pulled it up to see if like something crazy happened, like perhaps it looks like somebody might be proposing or something. Maybe not. Yep. So the guy was singing karaoke and he gets down and he's proposing. So the bar is going fucking nuts. That's kind of cool.
I think doing it in that fashion kind of can be awkward if she doesn't want to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, here's what would happen if I did something like that. I'd be at karaoke, I'd sing, and then I would like propose, and then the woman would be like, "Who are you?" You know, and it would just be really awkward. I'd be like, I was just singing the song. You remember? I mean, it'd really be awkward now because my wife would be pissed. Wow.
He says that he can't propose to anybody else because his wife would be pissed. Mine would probably be pissed too.
Oh. Well,
but as I keep saying,
I can understand that. I mean, she doesn't want my marriage to like go through any like terrible arguments or anything. So,
well, it's like I keep telling her is that she never has to worry because I don't have any spare time because I'm always with her. So if I have somebody on the side, I'm not sleeping.
Right. It's kind of funny because like while you're saying that, you're like totally cradling the cat, and you keep saying, and like I keep telling her, and you just like are pointing right to the cat like every time that you say that.
She, see, that's a downward. That's
yeah, you were like,
and you know I can track you on our phone.
He's all like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Well, she almost got me. Let's go ahead and give her the finger. So that she's not tracked by anything. Yeah, she can track me too. So if I shut my phone off, she'll be like, I know what you were doing.
Yeah, I was telling somebody about tracking phones today, the other day. Because somebody doesn't trust somebody else. I was like, you know they track our, huh?
We track each other all the time. It's like she'll say, yeah, I'm okay. So like today, she worked, right? You worked? Yeah, she worked. So if I didn't know exactly where she was, instead of sending her a text saying, where are you? I just brought up Find My iPhone. I would bring up Find My iPhone, and I would just find her and be like, oh, she's at 60th on her way on the max.
Or if I need to find you while you're on your route.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could hear me.
Could you hear her?
Or if you need to find him while he's out.
While I'm on my route.
Well, on your route. Okay, got it. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, because route would be yeah. Well, now that I have my own route, she's gonna get used to me.
Well, I know the square you're gonna be in.
Yeah, but before it was, what route are you on this week? Oh, it's yeah, that doesn't work. I don't know where that is. Oh, cutie.
My parents are gonna be here at the end of March.
Really?
In
Nice.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Where do they usually live?
I was about to say, wait a minute. They're coming here in March, and then we're going there in May. But I realized why they're coming here in March now. It dawned on me. Is there a light that I can turn on to?
Wait. My brother is getting married.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, so my mom messaged me today and asked if they could stay at our house. And she kind of gave me a range of dates. And I told her, I said, no, you need to stay longer. So I am excited that they're going to be here because the weather should be nice since it's at the end of March.
Where they live?
And with you working up the street, I'm going to take the car away from you while they're here.
You're going to end up picking me up and dropping me off.
And plus, we've lived here for another entire year, which means I'm much better at getting places than when they were here the first time.
Yep.
And my mom goes, well, we're not going to stay as long as we did that one Christmas because you guys are coming to North Dakota. And I said, yeah, but Portland is way more fun than Beulah.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, except for my trip to Indiana, I'm going to be laying around a lot. Or maybe I'll be ingressing all over Beulah. Maybe I'll set Beulah up as a.
We need to Pokemon that place.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
do that anymore. I didn't have it on my phone.
I took off my phone too.
I
Make
just
it there, Bob.
I'm probably going to die.
don't
I
die.
hurt the hell on my throat and it hurts.
I just got an iPhone 7 and I didn't put it on here, so it's not on here.
I may bail from the show after Kevin comes on. Where's the other Kevin?
I'm waiting. Yeah, I don't know where either Kevin is.
Like he said,
I found nothing better to do.
yeah.
Which Kevin said that?
Oh.
Soft rock.
If you were playing the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes game, which I am now playing on my phone here real quick, you would know that I have 3 Rebels that are 7-star that have recently been 7-star, and I just made Poe Dameron a 7-star.
Wow.
I tried that challenge with the Rebels. Man, did I get my ass handed to me.
You really need the Rebels like completely stacked, and we've not yet had that chance, but I'll be ready.
Hey, Kitty.
Get ready to rumble.
Kitty brought stickers in.
Yeah, she did.
There's so much stuff I want to see happen in the comic book world. I'll tell you what, if somebody would do those things, I would read it. Like, I want to see the world where the superheroes, and they probably have done this, and I don't know about it, but where, like Batman hasn't aged in how long? Or he's aged, but he's been around for a very long time, and yet he's still out there fighting crime. So I want to see like the people who get old and senile with their powers, or the children who have the powers in that same world. But if you have a child hero who then grows up and then becomes old, that would be cool.
So, funny story. I want to make. Okay, so let's dial this back here. When Invincible came out, I was really wanting Image to like expand and have a multi-shared universe, and that's kind of what Robert Kirkman wanted. He was building up a set so that somebody else could take over for him in the future. He recently ended Invincible because he realized that being a creator-owned property, he can, nobody wants to take something from somebody else and keep going. They want to see a complete story, so he ended his story. So I also have been thinking of making a shared universe at some point, but because of what Kirkman did, I'm more along the lines now of thinking like Kirkman in I have a chance to tell a complete story, regardless of how long it'll end up being, and I can still do the shared universe thing with my meager amount of characters that I've got working. And in my shared universe, and I had already planned to do this, people age. People get replaced. So if I have Batman and Robin, Dick Grayson eventually becomes Batman because Bruce Wayne, gets old or dies.
Right.
Someone's excited.
I have a Batman-related question. Do you watch a animated series, Batman the Animated Series, or Justice League, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, or Batman Beyond?
I think my wife watched that, where it actually has old Batman, right?
Batman Beyond is old Bruce Wayne.
Because the voice actors Batman and Robin are coming to our Comic-Con in February.
Oh wow, nice.
I know that was recently announced.
You know who the voice of Joker is, right?
Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah, and you watch The Walking Dead.
Yes.
So Eugene
Uh-huh.
gonna be at our Comic-Con.
Wow.
So he's a hipster when he doesn't have a mullet. I see a picture of him here, and it's nothing like he would have shown up there, and I would have been like, "Who are you?"
Right?
I mean, all smiley and happy and non-mullety.
He's got a very blank personality in that show. Like that's a hellacious act right there.
I related. I'm sure that his character maybe is on the autism spectrum
Uh-huh.
in some sense. I mean,
And to play that part as well as he does, that's impressive.
and it says like he's all into stand-up comedy and stuff, which, I mean, when you think about his character in that TV show, wow.
Yeah, he'd be all like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm about to tell a joke, and you're gonna laugh."
Yeah.
You guys know the show, right? So that like totally made sense, didn't it?
We're not caught up, but yes, we've seen enough of him to know what he's
I
like.
don't think I've seen anything from this season of anything. Any of the DC shows, I've seen like a couple episodes of one of the DC shows, but I'm so far behind.
Because because the CW is doing what they're doing with the shows, we haven't been watching the updated stuff either. So I'm gonna wait till they're on Netflix and then catch up that way.
I was going to say, if they have an app and if we can authenticate it, we can watch it.
Oh,
And
now have you guys heard anything about the DC Dark?
What?
Well, depends. I mean, maybe.
It's a I don't remember if that's exactly what they're calling it or not. But there's a okay, so one of the characters that was in one of the original DC comics was Hellblazer, Constantine,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay.
His show was canceled, but he showed up in like 2 or 3 episodes of Arrow.
Yes.
Oh, uh-huh.
They were talking about bringing him back into the CW on kind of a dark side thing. And it sounds like they might do it, but they're going to do it as an animated series. So that guy is still doing the voice of Constantine, and it's going to be like the magic side of DC.
Okay.
Yeah. But it would have been pretty freaking amazing if they did that, having an entire show with just the magic type people.
Like, who else?
That would be Justice League Dark, because that's what Justice League Dark is. It's all the magical superheroes.
Like, what other magical person can you say the name of that I might know?
Well, Damien Dark was in the series.
In
You remember Damien Dark?
Damien. Oh, yeah, Damien Dark. Okay.
Zatanna wears fishnets, and she has like a top hat, and she does magic. You've seen her in both Smallville and Arrow.
Okay. Oh, no, wait. No. She's not the Love Arrow one.
No.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Bob wins. I recognize his.
God damn
there's
you, Miato. Always stealing my thunder.
Let's see. So we got John Constantine, Kid Eternity, a Clarion, the Witch Boy,
Couldn't even get past one.
Shazam. They got Shazam down as magic. Zatanna, Zachary, Zatara, Tracy 13.
I suppose Shazam for the way he changes.
Well, no, Shazam's powers are magically based.
Oh, are they?
It is magic?
They were gifted to him by the, the more motley. Shazam gave him his powers.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. I'm all fucked up right now.
Are you coughing because of the burn? Or you just
I
got
don't know.
sickle?
Well, I've been coughing a little bit, but it's been getting better. And then all of a sudden, like, my throat is so irritated right now. Like, my throat is pissed off at me.
I had a cold back over Christmas Eve, and I went to there's a grocery store here called Natural Grocers, and I bought 3 or 4 different kinds of tea that was all like immune system and cold relief and echinacea and cough, support, all this stuff. And then I bought 2 oil diffusers that use, you pour water in it and essential oils, and then it uses ultrasound to create a cool mist. And so I bought 2 of those so that I could have one in the house and one in the bedroom. And then I have, I've been coughing. I end up kind of like you, is like get to that point where it feels like you're choking and you can't breathe and you can't swallow and you can't stop coughing. And
she didn't even tell you the weirdest part of Natural Grocers is the employees are all nude when you go in. I mean, it's natural.
Pretty natural. Yeah, natural.
The El Natural.
El Natural Grocers. Wait, what is that?
And they don't have grocery bags there.
So there's Constantine in cartoon form.
Yeah, that looks like him.
The DCEU. A few theatrical releases for their animated project and some new ground broken in their TV universe. So I didn't see if they had any more pictures, but
Lego.
Did you see that Powerless?
Wonder
yes.
That's a TV show that's coming out.
Hey, what?
It's about people that have no powers.
Oh,
No powers?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a superhero world, they've got no powers.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be on NBC, so we'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Krypton?
Krypton happens before it happens. Like,
is it on the CW?
I don't know. Actually, I think it might be on Sci-Fi. But Krypton is supposed to be like 100 years before the explosion of Krypton, so you can see how life was, or 50 years, or I don't know. It's before the explosion, but far enough so that they're not like a countdown. Like, we only have 7 seasons to work with.
Yeah, well, Jor-El, it seemed like, was the only one who seemed to think that there was a problem with the planet.
Well, so let's use actual political figures here. So let's say the government, Congress, none of them understand that what's about to happen. And we got Stephen Hawking saying, he's saying motherfuckers listen, but actually it's like, motherfuckers listen, bitches. We are causing the planet to explode, and I'm going to send my son to another planet because he'll have superpowers. You're all going to die.
Exterminate.
Bitches.
Sorry, Stephen Hawking, if you're listening. Yeah, he actually admires the hell out of you.
I do. I'm a big science fan, so I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I like Bill Nye. I like Stephen Hawking. I like people that make sense and can back things up. So it says Stephen Hawking isn't out there, making wild, bold claims that he's not saying definitively one thing or another. It's if he can back it up, he can back it up. If not, it's a theory.
Oh, Beekman's World.
What?
Beekman's World.
Sure.
Do you know that one? It's a science show. It's a great science show.
I watched Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
This guy is like, he has a giant rat on the show named Lester. It's a fat man in a rat suit, and a girl. The girl is actually, there was a movie called Renaissance Man with Danny DeVito. Do you remember that one?
I know of it.
He was a teacher. Okay, his daughter in there is actually this girl. And then Beekman himself just has like this crazy hairdo. But it's a kids show for science, and it's really neat. So like they've got questions that come in and say, "Hey Beekman, my question is, why is this like this?" And so he's like, "I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about that." And then they like explain to it in really cool, funny ways how this stuff is. And it's on like every weekend here. I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and then like a month ago I found it, and I was like, "That's awesome." Beekman's.
I remember Mr. Wizard, and I remember when Bill Nye was the science guy.
Yeah. Well, actually, Bill Nye is on right after that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would, I think you'd like Star Talk. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson has an interview with somebody, but they interject it with he hosts it with a comedian and another science specialist, basically.
I've listened to the podcast a bit. Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, the podcast is different, I think, actually.
Oh. That was actually called Star Talk.
Yeah, and I was very confused when I saw the TV show as compared to the podcast because I remember listening to one, or maybe I'm confusing things. But do you have National Geographic on your TV package?
I don't believe so.
Well, then you're not going to get to watch Star Talk because I know you don't have Hulu, right?
I do have Hulu.
You do have Hulu.
Yes, we now have Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. And then we also have the Roku with all the Roku channels.
So you should totally Hulu Star Talk.
I didn't know it was on there.
Are you watching Timeless on NBC?
Wife was, but I don't think we're getting that channel right now or something.
It's also on Hulu, but I don't know if you can watch episodes past like the last 5 because NBC is weird. It's like if there's a season, they only give you 5 episodes, and that mark keeps moving till the end, and then like 2 months before the next season comes out, they release the first season in a whole. I don't understand the big. I just fucking leave it. All right, I'll get to it when I'm good goddamn ready, because that's what TV is these days. I don't want to fucking have an appointment for anything.
So Star Talk is the first one.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Bob, we could do something we haven't done. We nice.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
We could do something we haven't done in a long fucking time.
What's that?
We could have a 1-hour show.
What?
I know, right?
What time do we start?
We started it. Well, it was around 7:30 my time. So right now it's almost 8:30. So if we waited till like 8:33, it would be an hour.
Do you guys have other things you got going on?
Well, no, but I mean, yeah, I don't want you choking to death on the air.
Our ratings might go up.
No, well, I mean, to see the death of Bob, but I mean, nobody wants that.
Yeah, we can like YouTube that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Bob dying! How many hits?" So speaking of which, though, there was a girl who Facebook lived her own suicide. Then there was that those 4 teenagers who Facebook lived the torturing of the handicapped kid. But yeah, I wonder how much stuff goes out on Facebook Live that people aren't seeing. It's like some fucked up shit that's going on there that.
And
I don't know if you saw my post on that, but I said that, like, wait a minute, because somebody said something about this. I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. Like those 4 teenagers who were doing that shit to that kid, they put out like illegal activity out here that a whole bunch of people hit the old like button, and it's like every single person who liked that video should get charged because they're all, what's that word?
You're not accomplices, but accessories.
Yes, every one of those. Not one of those people called the police. You know who actually called the police? The neighbor complained about the noise they were making, so they went downstairs and kicked in the neighbor's door because she complained about the noise, and that's when the kid took off. So every one of the people who liked that knew that there was a crime going on and said nothing. So every one of those people should be guilty. They won't, but I think they should.
Before I get into the exact nature of the Facebook like, Facebook updated their app so that the little red numbers that I get on my apps now, include if one of the pages I follow has a live video going on. Just let me say, I unequivocally do not give a fuck who is going live when. The only time I have ever watched live Facebook is when the riots were happening here in Portland. It's because I was interested to see it while it was going on. I don't want a little red number to pop up if that's what's going on. I don't fucking care. All right. I don't care that one of my friends is having sex with a bunt cake. I don't care.
That might be something worth watching.
I just don't want that number to pop up. You know what? If I want to put a little thing, don't give me the number. All right. It's not a fucking notification. I don't fucking care. So
I don't understand what the red number is. That's weird.
On an iPhone, the little red number lets you know that there's so like if on Facebook, forget the video for a second. If you like one of my posts, it shows up as a little red notification.
Oh.
So let's say I post that sugar cookies are the greatest cookie in the world, okay? And 75 people hit like or some form of that.
Well, why would they? I mean, they're not chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate is evil. That's not the point, Bob. This is the hypothetical.
Oh, okay, I got you. Go ahead.
So 75 of my friends go like, love, thumbs up, I love you, please have my babies, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I will get 70, in the little red circle will be 75 because 75 people have done that.
Wow.
Now, that number also includes any groups I'm a part of that have a post, so I can live with that because I noticed that I'm a part of a couple of groups that do a lot of posting, so I'll get anywhere from 12 to 100 notifications a day because of those groups. I understand what's going on with those. I wanted to be part of those groups. I will live with that. This video shit, I don't fucking care. But back to the video.
Let's get back to this bun cake thing. No, go ahead. Never mind.
I knew, but did not vocalize, that the instant Facebook making a live video accessible to everyone, that we were going to have this fucking problem. Because next to come up, and you know it's coming, in a state where it is not legal to smoke marijuana and or do other forms of drugs, there will be a slew of arrests made using Facebook Live because some fucking moron will go, oh, look, I made a bong out of my flower pot. I'm going to smoke it. Oh, yeah, I am in New Jersey because it's not legal here.
Yeah. Well, I think that this has got a lot to do with like where times are going right now. We've got a lot of things that are happening. Like, look at the idea of they're wanting to put a new tax on people. For the more you use the roads, the more you get taxed for using those roads. So why would you voluntarily tell them how much you're driving, right? Like, why would you? Like, the more you drive, the more you have to pay. So why would they possibly do that? Well, they're preparing for us. They've been preparing for us for that for years. They say, plug this little thing in underneath your dashboard, and we'll give you $100 back on your insurance. Oh, hell yeah, $100 back on my insurance. They're already tracking you with that fucking device. They already know with this. The smart cars that are driving themselves, they all know. The smart cars that people are driving already know. All these things are already doing that stuff. I mean, it's essentially voluntarily sticking a leash directly up your own ass. Our phones, like you said, we can already track the phones. Me and my wife both turn off our little tracker thing. Like, if I want to know what the weather is, I'll bring down the top, hit the button, and my location comes on. I check my weather, and then I bring down the top, turn location off. I always do that. Because it's like, and the idea of, I don't know. You hear all the time the argument of if you've got nothing to hide, then it doesn't matter if everybody knows everything about you. But
okay, so you, and I can use it. I can literally use us as the example. So you don't want anyone to know where you're at, so you turn off your location services.
well, I mean, that's part of it. The other part is it uses more battery. But yeah, it's like one of those things where
when I got this phone, made the conscious decision to go ahead and use location services for all kinds of shit. I've decided that I don't really give a rat's ass who knows where I'm at. You know what? If it ends up biting me in the ass in the end when the aliens reveal themselves as the entire government and incinerate us, but only those of us that have our locations shared, I made that mistake myself. But at this point,
right at this point, you're good.
yeah.
But there's things that happen that, like, somebody gets a warrant out for them, and they just like show up at their like sister's best friend's house and arrest you, and you're like, well, but like they say, if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have to
on Facebook to your sister's best friend's house, dummy.
Yeah. But I think that the internet here is like the 1984 thing. They encouraged kids to turn in their parents. That stuff's already happening. Kids are turning in their parents for illegal stuff, for stuff that's not even illegal. But, you can't smack me because if you spank me, I'll call the police on you. Okay, you can do that once. What do you think life's going to be like after that? I'm not going to abuse a child, but if a child calls the cops on me for something like that, forget about getting an allowance. Forget about fucking guess who's getting fucking socks and underwear every year for their birthday? It's like, I'm not going to abuse you. You'll get everything that you need, but you're not getting extras. It's like, you're going to learn.
Well, you and I can attest to this firsthand. Neither one of us went through boot camp with what is now known as the yellow card. So there is no enemy in the world that if you hold up the I'm stressed out yellow card, no one's going to stop firing at you. They're still going to shoot you. And more than likely, you've just painted the target on it. They're going to shoot you first.
Yeah.
I don't have time for your feelings because, I mean, you know what? I'm upset about the election too. But you know what? Life went on the next day. I watched the Challenger explosion. And I had to finish school that day. So if you can't take a Cheeto, ferret-haired dude being the president and your life is over, I've watched people die live on TV. Life goes on.
They're actually talking. I saw a thing where I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I guess there's like a whole bunch of people who are planning on like fucking over the inauguration like big time, blocking off roads, and it's like, well, it's not like just protests about something here. This is like this is bigger than that. If you're blocking these roads, they're not going to just like sit there and honk at you. This is where like you don't have that many FBIs and cops like protecting somebody's life and then get away with shit like that. If you're causing problems, they're probably going to have you removed. It's not like some of these other protests. But
anyone thinks that they are going to cause some sort of commotion at the inauguration is smoking, and they need to be arrested for consuming illegal substances. Because you know what? I have been openly against Mr. Trump, and I don't like the guy, and I don't want him to become the president. But you know what? The last thing I'm going to fucking do is show up in D.C. waving any sort of item that can be construed as a weapon, because I will not only get taken down faster than you can say the alphabet, but I will probably never see the light of day again.
Well, right.
I understand that despite my personal feelings, the man is going to be president.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people talk about that. Like, but every fucking site, man. I got a site on Atheist. I got a site on like Magic. I've got a site. I got so many different sites that everybody does. Like all your interests, you follow stuff about this, and every fucking one of them has like these dual views where somebody makes a comment one way or the other, and then the comments start, and it's just this constant battle that's happening. Oh, come on. There is so many of us who didn't like Obama. It wasn't anything like this. It was nothing like this when Obama went. It wasn't like this the second time Obama got in.
Well, and the thing about the people that didn't like Obama, there was a limit. They reached a limit and they stopped. And I don't understand we've got an entitlement society since that first happened. So now all these little entitled brats are out there going, "Well, I deserve to be heard." Well, you know what? You don't. Because I don't want to listen to you.
The stuff that people deserve is all in their fucking minds. I got into it with some crazy bitch on Facebook yesterday because it was like totally fucking nuts. And it started out because there was a picture of somebody holding up a sign saying, what was it here? No, it's coming up right now. Can we stop pretending it is possible to live on minimum wage? All right. Now, that picture was originally shared by some girl from, guess where? Portland. So as soon as I saw that and I saw that it said Portland, I'm thinking, I bet you this girl's a fucking protester. And sure enough, when I clicked on her thing, it said about like the last thing that she posted was something along the lines of, well, my boyfriend thinks that that I protest way too many things, and it's like, okay, and here's my comment. I'm going to read to you my comment on here, and because I know that a lot of people have different views of this, but I said this is bullshit in so many levels. I haven't worked for a place that paid minimum wage since I was 15 years old, and guess what? I lived with my parents, so I wasn't living on minimum wage. I was buying stuff that I wanted because my food was paid for, and I didn't have to pay rent. If you make minimum wage anywhere as an adult, it's because you do shitty work that doesn't deserve a raise, or you're not willing to go find a job that pays better. And anyone that claims there is nobody hiring is a fucking liar. There's 1,500 jobs within 10 miles of Warsaw, and I bet that not one of them pays minimum wage. Places don't pay minimum wage. I mean, there are those few places. It does happen.
What that person's going to point to, and what I would point out, although that wouldn't be I'm not suggesting that's the thing, but there are employers out there that go, oh, well, that's all I have to pay. That's all I'm going to pay. And
you know what? You're not going to be able to keep good people there.
No, you're not.
And it's the system works itself out that way. Like that's how the system works itself out. Like, if I had a restaurant and said, you know what, I can sell just macaroni and cheese and grilled cheese sandwiches, and and I don't have to make anything else. They're easy to make, and as long as I sell each dish for $5, I'll make a fortune. Guess who's not going to buy your fucking food? It sucks and it's overpriced. And guess what? The market fixes itself. Nobody will buy it. So you have to either close down, or you have to start making better food, or start charging less for it. If there was a place that made nothing but grilled cheese sandwiches and mac and cheese, sure, sounds good. I get one of each for $1. I'd do that. If I had $1 and I wanted to go in there and get a grilled cheese sandwich, sure. But $5, that's not happening. It's the system kind of like, it'll work itself out. If you've got an employer who says, I'm not paying over this amount, okay, well, then you're going to get the shittiest fucking workers who cannot get jobs anywhere else.
Something, and going back to the political realm, something that the missus and I have been observing is that Trump keeps making these pronouncements that things are going to be a certain way when he's in office. Mm-hmm. And we both keep saying, yeah, and then Congress and the Secret Service and the FBI, all these people are going to point out, no, you're not. That's not how the government works. This isn't a fucking business. You can't hire and fire people willy-nilly. Congress can't be touched. And if you think you're just going to get this law passed without anybody else saying, that's why the government's set up the way it is, you fucking moron.
Right. He's making a lot of things that, and I see that he might have ideas, but he's making way too much public before he's even trying to do anything. Like, let's take the one thing, the biggest thing, the wall. We'll take the wall, for instance.
Yeah, the wall.
we're going to build the wall and we're going to make them pay for it. What are you going to do? Build the fucking wall and then the paychecks of those workers is going to be coming from the Mexican government on a weekly basis? That's not going to happen. Are you going to build the wall and then hand them the paycheck or the bill? That's not going to happen. The only way it can happen where they pay for it is that anything that comes out of Mexico gets taxed heavily. Anything that comes here from Mexico gets taxed, and that tax goes to the wall. So because we don't know what his plan is, when he's saying we're going to make them pay for it, the fuck does that mean? I voted for Trump, and I still don't know what the fuck he's trying to say with this wall.
Well, right now, we're going to pay for the wall. I'm going to have Mexico reimburse us.
But if it's a reimbursement, it's not going to be just, well, here's that money. It's going to be through a tax. It's going to be through something that they can't avoid. Like if you want to do business with America, you're going to have to pay this. And then through that route, that's the only thing I could think of that would make any sense.
Among the many multitude of things that I see going wrong here, I have never, ever experienced so many states floating the idea of secession in my lifetime.
I didn't know many were. I thought it was just like California.
There are parts of Oregon that want to secede. There are parts of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Alaska, Hawaii, California. They all want to get together and secede. Texas wants to secede. I mean, it's weird. I mean, there's all kinds of secession stuff floating out there. Now, I know when Obama came in, you heard a couple of them and then they went away. But I mean, I'm here, this is all the time. And every couple of weeks, there's another one going, hey, we're going to secede too. And
now, what's weird is what happens if that happens? Now, this could be one of the reasons, this could be what makes that psychic right. If they said that the United States of America is going to have a black president, and then that's going to be the last president that the United States of America has, that doesn't necessarily mean that the world's going to end before Trump's in. What if the United States of America isn't the United States of America? You all of a sudden have these ones here who call themselves something else, and then, like, what if that's what happens? Is that, I mean, of course, it's just a psychic chick, and who knows if she's going to be right, but it's one of the predictions.
The other thing with secession, and I'm proud of myself for thinking about this without looking anything up on it. Let's say I like the idea of Oregon joining the group of things wanting to secede to become Pacifica, which is the name being floated for our little union. And apparently this has been going on for a long time. Pacifica, the idea has been going on for a really long time. Anyway, I'm behind the idea. I'm super Pacifica. Let's go. Let's do it. The first thing that happens when we get cut off from the United States, we don't have the federal government funneling cash our direction. Mm-hmm. We don't have cash of our own to base anything off of. We kind of have to start from scratch.
You know, the thing that I brought up is, like, California was one of the first ones to bring up this whole, like, thing here this time. Well, California has got a real big problem right now. They're saying they only have a year's worth of water right now. Where are they going to get that from? The rest of the United States, where now they have to pay import taxes because it's a different country?
Yeah.
Well,
or they could use some science and turn ocean water into potable water.
They're not interested in science. If they were interested in science, they wouldn't have these open aqueducts they wouldn't make it illegal to get rainwater from your house to put on your garden. They wouldn't be transferring it miles and miles and miles through open aqueducts where most of it is, like, getting lost into the atmosphere and then pumping it back to your house. They wouldn't be doing this stuff if they wanted to go with science.
And Tricia just said, and birds poop in it.
Yeah, but I mean, there is a very old filtering system. They do. They're open aqueducts that they're doing this stuff with. They've got a very old filter system that includes charcoal, sand, rocks, in a barrel on the bottom of your house that the water gets filtered through naturally, and now you can drink it. And if you still think there's stuff in there, you can boil it. I mean, there's stuff that you can do, but it's illegal. It's like illegal to collect rainwater. And what I've said about that is as soon as they make something like that illegal, if the kids have a bucket laying out in the yard and it fills up with rain, you have now broken the law. You've now managed to collect water. That's illegal. I don't know if you saw it, but there was somebody who had a 50-year-old pond on the family property that they had to destroy this pond because the government decided that that was their rainwater. That wasn't those people's. The rainwater belongs to the government. That's what they've declared now.
Well,
and you're stealing it if you have a pond.
If any state is prepared water-wise to break away from the union, it's Oregon, because these fucking people here, I'm surprised that some of them are still using electricity.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of renewable honestly, I think that if Oregon went solo right now, we could completely survive. It's just the financial thing was my weirdo. And
yeah,
maybe the Oregon National Guard becomes our official military or whatever, but I don't, that's the other thing. It's just little tidbits here and there that nobody would really consider. We don't have any ships, so there's no Oregon Navy.
Yeah, that's true. Now what happens though, like, I don't know, what if in Oregon you wouldn't have the problem where half of the people don't want to do it? I mean, like Oregon and California, like almost everybody there is anti-Trump. So, but what about the people who don't? Now here they are.
Well, stop right there.
Do you remember when DJ wasn't on the podcast and you and I were talking? We looked at the map of Oregon, and there were only a couple of counties that were actually. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's that you talk to us, and we're in Portland, and Portland is the left-leaning area of Portland, whereas a lot of the rest of the state is very similar to North Dakota, or like in the rural areas that you're in, with camping and fishing and hunting and hiking and blah blah blah.
Only in dense population centers are democratic things popular. So the reason Democrats win are because of large cities.
There's just more of us here than there are in the rest of the state. Yeah.
So if you wanted to split Oregon, Portland could go all by itself, and then everybody would be off the blue against the red, because there's no way the rest of the Oregon would go thinking that we're all going to get along.
Well, and I think the main thing that made me think that is the idea of all those protests. There was a lot of people in those protests, and it's like it just seemed like everybody's pissed. But it sounds like everybody's just pissed because, like, I don't know, why do people like being pissed where you're at?
These people protest at the drop of a fucking hat. And
they do.
So the protest started with, we don't like Trump. Well, then they were joined by the Don't Shoot PDX, which is the please don't shoot as police officer thing. Portland Resistance, which I'm still not sure what they are. Black Lives Matter. Save our library books. Don't tear down old buildings. The list of things they were chanting just in the first couple of nights, I'm like, I don't even know what the protest is about anymore, because these people are all over the fucking map. And
you remember that episode of South Park when they were protesting? Like, I don't remember what the fuck they were protesting, but all of a sudden Jimbo stands up and says, and if you don't want to risk spilling your coffee, don't have it in the car. I hate those travel mugs or whatever the hell it was. And it's like somebody out of nowhere says something totally bizarre off the fuck. I don't know why you guys are so.
Oh, sorry. No, continue. I'll be here when you're done.
I was just saying, I don't know why that particular area is so.
And I say this knowing that I am associated with them. This place is a bunch of fucking hippies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hippies is okay, but this is a scenario like the you guys aren't Christians, right?
No.
But the Christian idea of I don't believe in this, and therefore you shouldn't do it, is happening here. I'm on a diet, therefore you shouldn't eat donuts. How about you don't agree with this? Don't fucking do it. Why are they out there, yelling in everyone's faces saying, stop this? No, you stop it. That's not liberty. There's nothing liberty about that. There's no freedom there.
And the protesters against Trump are protesting the people that voted against Trump. So how is that accomplishing anything but pissing us off?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it.
I said that quite a bit, and I probably even maybe said it on our podcast. But I had said multiple times, because when you look at the map and the way that people voted in Oregon, that they do need to go to the red counties and have their protests, because stopping me in traffic when I voted like you did, if you even voted,
Right.
so then we've got that issue too, isn't going to get you anywhere.
They served lettuce at lunch at school today. I'm going to start a gigantic protest, and Black Lives Matter will be there and the anarchists will be there to protest by destroying all the cars on a used car lot.
I can't believe how often on the news they say that there is a walkout protest from high schools.
And I don't even understand how those kids learn anything with how many protests happen.
They're not. It's the school systems anyways are fucked up.
I was going to say, after we were talking about the whole rainwater thing, I Googled, and I want to say I probably found the article pertaining to the people that you maybe talked about that had to drain their pond.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was I don't think that one was actually in California.
It's in Oregon.
It was in Oregon? Holy shit.
So,
wow.
So here's basically, there's one paragraph I have here. It says here, basically, rainwater collection is okay in Oregon, provided that you're capturing it from an artificial, impervious surface, such as a rooftop, with the assistance of rainwater barrels. Okay. But an extensive reservoir setup complete with 10 and 20-foot tall dams is verboten without the proper state-issued water right permits. After all, Oregon law dictates that water is a publicly owned resource, and Harrington did not possess said permits.
And publicly owned means government owned.
Isn't verboten just a German way of saying forbidden?
I thought it meant sausage. Everything in German means sausage, right?
What about beer?
Here it says water is a publicly
water sausage
owned resource.
Huh? That's weird.
So the way around the way she just said it is, you set up a system on your roof, make sure it stays clean, and then when it rains, you literally just so you got your little point on the top of the roof, and then coming down from the point are slots that kind of grab all the water that hits the roof and funnels it into a couple of buckets, which filters it, and now you've got your own water source.
Right. Well, in a lot of places it is allowed, and I wouldn't drink that water, but that's the water that you can
Water your garden.
Gardens and stuff. Yeah, it's great for gardens. And you don't have it come down the roof like that, but you actually put it into a gutter system, and then the gutter goes into a big barrel.
Well, I'm just going with the roof itself, saying, you have
right.
Make sure it funnels into a specific, rather than lose some of it off the edge.
Right.
So it's sounding like this particular guy maybe did some things to the land that trapped water in different ways.
Right. But I mean, if it's own land, I mean, like, it doesn't seem like.
I wonder if I read more, I wonder if maybe there was some sort of little stream or something that maybe went through his land, and because they said that there were dams and stuff, that maybe he was stopping it. So maybe that's wrong.
I have bonus energy.
But anyway.
Nice. And then I seen some. It was like kind of like this, where they had 5 of the 55-gallon drums laid out next to each other, and then what happens is that each one of them has got an overflow to where it fills the top one and immediately goes into the bottom one. Once it fills up that first bottom one, it goes into this overflow to fill up the second one. And then when that one gets to its overflow, it goes into the third one and fills that up. When all 3 of those are filled up, then it starts going into the top 2 where it does that same thing. And that gives you 55 gallons times 5 that you can use on your yard, or animals will eat it. It's fine for animals. It's
Now because we live in our condo, we don't pay a water bill separately. It's the water bill for the entire building is just all one bill, and it's paid through our HOA fees per month. So everything's kind of averaged. Okay, so I have not seen a water bill in the state of Oregon since we've lived here. But since living here, what little I do know, that seems kind of different. Like, for example, at your house, if you have the gutters on your house and then the downspout that goes down at the corners, at the bottom, does it just flow out and hit the ground, or does it go into the ground so you never actually see that runoff water?
from like my gutters.
Yeah, your gutters.
Actually, this particular we don't have gutters on our house. It comes right off the side and then just kind of like makes a mess. But unlike my parents, they've got gutters, and it used to come down and it had a little downspout at the bottom. And people a lot of times will put like a flat rock there or something just to spray it so it doesn't create a hole.
Right.
And I think what my parents did is they put like a it's a black tube about this big with holes in it that goes underground out to a different spot, hooked out to it. So as it's going down this, it kind of leaches off because this tube has got like the holes, like what you would use in a leach field for a septic.
Like those garden hoses that you can get where you lay them out and they kind of like soaker hoses in a way.
Yeah. They got holes throughout to where it's like it is like slowly releasing water through it, but if you've got a big rain, it's coming out the other end.
So it sounds like either way, between your house or your parents' house, the water that hits your roof somehow makes its way to the ground around your house.
Yes.
Okay, so here, all of the downspouts on our building are connected into the ground and like into a sewer system in a way, kind of like the way your what would they be called on the streets?
Like gutters.
Yeah. But nothing, like if it hits our roof and it goes through the gutters, we don't see it around the building. Like it goes away.
It actually goes through underground tubing and stuff. So that probably then gets shipped off to the plant where they clean it and send it back to you.
And they make you pay for the amount of runoff on your property as part of your water bill.
Wow.
So like they charge you for the amount of water that falls on your lot as part of your water bill.
Huh. How can they judge that?
I see, that's what I have no idea about because we've never paid one of these bills separately. But
The only way I could, they can figure it out.
I know that last year there was so much rain that the water bills exceeded what we were paying because we come up with a budget at the beginning of each year. And so the water bills actually exceeded the amount of money being paid because of some super wet months, which I wonder if that would happen with snow, because snow isn't going into that underground gutter system. It's going to melt into the dirt.
Right.
So I don't know. I really have no idea.
Yeah, the only way I can guess they would figure out like how much rain fell on your property is based on like how much fell on your, like if your roof
I think it's based on square footage or something.
Yeah. So if you had 100 gallons off of your roof and your roof is 1/4 of your yard, then you had 300 gallons then fall into your yard. That's crazy though.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't really understand it. And something else that's kind of weird is a lot of the bills here are paid quarterly. So a lot of homeowners pay a water bill once every 3 months. And it sounds like they get pretty high for everybody just because the amount of rain that falls here. It seems like it gets to be a really big burden to pay those bills for everyone in general.
Yeah.
Like, you pay your electric bill every month, but for some odd reason you pay your water bill every 3, and I don't understand why.
Well, and I'll tell you another weird thing is that what I was saying about as far as like the taxes and them getting us used to things like the road tax thing, the mileage tax, and this is one of the things they put in place because they were taxing us. They were already taxing us that way through gasoline. If you buy $10 or 10 gallons worth of gas, that gas got taxed.
Right, there's so much money per gallon that's already allocated to taxes.
Yes, but what's happening now? People are getting electric cars, which means less gas. They still need that money. So now you have the cars track how far you go, and they're still taxing that, but they have to find a different way of getting that same money from you because now they're losing money because of that. We almost bought an electric car. We were talking about it. We're not going to because they're kicking up taxes in a different way.
How do you know how?
How what?
You know how they would tax you with an electric car? I mean,
If they do the mileage thing, if they go off of like your like how much you drive on the roads, and that is through. There's a lot of things. A lot of the smart cars, they're actually called smart cars. They have like internal.
I know I want one.
Yeah, they're nice, but because they're tracking all that stuff, everybody who gets one, they say that you're not going to have that. Not like Brian, but Brian's kids may never, ever, ever drive a vehicle in their lives with the self-driving Ubers and the self-driving buses, and they've got
that day.
Huh?
I'm waiting for that day.
Yeah, they're already happening. They're all over right now. They've got like.
Oh, go ahead.
They're all over these self-driving vehicles, and it's like Laura says, well, I'll never drive in one. Like, well, you don't know. In 10 years, you might not be able to buy a car that doesn't have self-driving.
So where I'm confused about this tax you if you have an electric car thing is if you're saying that's happening now, like how do they make you pay it?
No,
You know?
they have the cars now that they keep track of that, but they haven't put the cars themselves, the smart cars, keep track of mileage.
Well, there's an odometer in every vehicle.
But it's connected to the system.
What system?
The whole online system thing that everything's connected to, like the internet and the whole like they can pull up on a computer how many miles have been put on vehicles, how much miles you're like.
But who is sending this bill to an owner of an electric car? How are they being forced to pay for this?
That part hasn't happened yet. That's the part
Okay.
they're talking about doing.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
what I can
So
understand.
like they say that the that little thing that you stick in to get that money off of your insurance.
Like the Progressive, that commercial.
Progressive's one of them. Yeah, they say that like that's one of the ones that's keeping track of how far you're going and stuff, and that they haven't actually started doing the mileage thing. Now, is that the carbon tax they're talking about? It might be, but like they said with us, we have the solar panels. We got the solar panels for the prime purpose of selling that money back to. So you can buy power at like 11 cents per kilowatt hour, and they buy it off of us for like 33 cents per kilowatt hour or something.
Really? Wow.
But we're actually we're getting the next grade. We're not getting the cheap stuff, even though we could. But she said because we're using, I don't even know how they separate it in the building, what they make and what they get from other people, what they buy. I don't know how they separate it. But you can get like the stuff that's bought, So we're getting like that little upgraded, which I think is the same fucking energy, just comes from a different source, which I don't understand that at all. I'm not getting it.
That totally makes me think that Bill, the brand new guy that works at the power company, he's looking at this thing going, there's two different batteries. They're like, yeah, that's what we get from other people, and that's what we make. We charge people more for that stuff right there.
Yeah, and I don't know how that works, but there's actually two different charges for this.
Well-
One's a renewable source, and one is the oil-based source that they're creating.
Okay, so that's kind of along the lines of what I wanted to say as part of this conversation. Out here, we have a lot of alternative sources for electricity. You know, a lot of renewable sources. There's hydroelectric power, and surprisingly, there's a lot of solar power. Like, if you just kind of think of the general theory of it rains all the time in Portland, you'd think the last thing they'd put out here is solar panels.
You'd think.
But I've seen more solar panels here than I ever saw in North Dakota, although North Dakota is very coal based. So anyways, there's all these alternative sources out here. And through our electric company, we choose to have all of our specific electricity come from renewable resources.
That's what we do. That's the one.
Okay, and so that makes you wonder, how the hell do they send me the right electricity, especially being in a building of 9, where I guarantee that most of the rest of them aren't going to do that?
Right.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and they probably don't. It's probably like, I don't know. Like, let's say they've got the gutter going into a rain barrel. All right. But it's being filtered coming down the gutter. All right. So it goes in this barrel. And then over here, we're filtering the water and putting it into the same barrel. And then when somebody says, I would like a bottle of water, please, you fill it up and be like, did you want the renewed stuff or did you want the other stuff? I'll take the renewed stuff. All right, this is $1 more than this. Here you go. To where it's probably all going into the same thing, and then whichever one you choose is whatever. It's probably all the same source. Like,
something that's kind of neat here is in all of the water pipes that are underground, all of the big pipes, with the water mains and stuff in them. As they've been replacing them and as they've been putting new ones in, they put little hydroelectric motors, little generators in them.
That's cool.
So even the water that comes, from the water towers and stuff that comes to us based on pressure creates electricity. I think that's really cool.
This is funny. You don't think that they're using that same system for that water that comes off your property that we were talking about and gets shipped to them? So here they are charging you guys.
And they're probably creating.
And they're making money off that water as it's traveling. Oh, yeah. Guarantee it. Well, the problem is that they changed the way they do this. Because we got ours when we did, if you were to buy solar panels here now, you can't sell it back to the power company.
No way.
But because they're throwing all these extra things on it. And that's the problem, is that every time they've got something, if you found a way to make your house to where you did not have to worry about the government at all, they would find a way to tax what you do have because they still have to get their money.
Like if you could sustain yourself off the grid, you still have to pay property taxes.
Exactly. But the property taxes, if they had, it's worse than that, saying that they might say that if you are off the grid, you still have to pay property taxes, but now you have to pay the special tax on top of property tax because you're off the grid. That's the type of thing that they're doing. Mm-hmm. So like the only reason that we would get an electric car would be because we wouldn't have to spend money on gas anymore. So they put a different tax on that so that they still get their money. The solar panels, same thing. There's no reason to get the solar panels if we don't get something out of it.
I guess I would get them just to lower my own energy bill, but that's how I've always, that's what's made me happy, I guess, is just to be not wasteful. So I would love to just, I do things to lower my own bill. Now, granted, it could help things, other things like, not wasting water is good for the environment as well, in
Good.
addition to making my bill lower. Or driving a fuel efficient vehicle is more cost effective to me because I buy less gas, and of course I'm using less resources.
Yeah.
I know here, like in the winter, do you guys ever have studded tires or chained tires?
Not us particularly. There's people who
But
do
like,
it.
have you seen them? I mean, do they exist in your state? Do you
I
know?
haven't seen studded ones. At one time I seen chains.
So here it's very popular, and I guess maybe if I got out of Portland I'd understand why, but I live such a sheltered life at this point where I never leave the town. I mean there's mountains on every side of us and
Right.
stuff that I just don't see.
Well, it's a law there, right?
What?
It's a law there, right? Like you're not allowed on the road under certain conditions unless you have the chains on there.
Well,
That has recently happened,
Yeah.
especially with this snowstorm. It was hard to figure out, though, as somebody who was new here, because the news kept saying chains are required on all, what did it say, like all ODOT roads?
government controlled roads is the phrase I keep using.
Well, DOT is Department of Transportation, so
Yeah.
ODOT is probably
Like-
the
Oregon Department of Transportation.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I'm in Oregon. Isn't that every road? Like I couldn't
Yeah.
grasp what they were trying to point out. But then I guess there's PBOT, which is Portland Bureau
Bureau.
of Transportation. But like 82nd is ODOT because it's also a highway. And Burnside is ODOT because it also is a highway out east.
There's lots of dual purpose roads here.
So it's so unbelievably confusing to somebody who hasn't lived this their entire life. I
Right.
even asked people who grew up here, could you explain the difference? And they really couldn't. So I'm like, so can I drive my car or do I need studded tires or, chained up tires? Well, then at one point during the day, a notification came out that said all Portland roads chains required. So
At least that's yeah. Oh, when I told people where I worked, we had to inspect parts, and they said like, and I'd go and say, hey, this has a blister here or it has a non-fill here, and they're like, well, this is okay, but don't make it worse. Okay, I understand right and I understand wrong, but the whole good enough,
great.
there's a huge good enough here that I don't get. Like I can tell if something's good, and I can tell if something's bad, but and that's kind of that thing where if they're saying all roads are closed or all roads are okay, sure, you can understand that. That's easy.
Right. Yeah, that's it. It's so confusing. And then the other thing, again, because they allow the chains and the studded tires, is people here, like there's a certain time of the year that you can have studded tires on your car. And then once it hits a certain day, you have to take them off. But
Wow.
that day, like, isn't until March.
Oh.
And
They damage the road?
there may not be anything on the road all of February, and all of whatever March is that you can have these studded tires. So they're ripping the hell out of the roads here. And they just added a 10-cent per gallon tax to gas.
Because of that damage.
To help. Well, I mean, not only that, but just to try to catch up in general, because out here especially, a lot of people use alternative forms of transportation. People bike a lot. People walk. People buy electric cars a lot. People use buses, TriMet, etc. So you've got a very small pool of people that use transportation every day that actually pay for gas, which actually pays for road improvement. And every once in a while, they've been throwing a thing out there saying, how can we tax people on bikes? Because they use the road. There are
Right.
bike lanes on almost every road here.
I was actually just going to say that if everybody started riding bikes, they would find a way to tax the bike riders. Yeah.
And there is one bridge. There's like, I don't know, there's like 7 to 10 bridges that go across the river from the east side to the west side of Portland. And there's one bridge in particular that's open since we've moved here. The Tillicum crossing, Tillicum. And anyways, this bridge was not built for cars.
Huh.
It was built for walking, biking, and TriMet Max. And
Bus.
Does the bus even go on it?
Buses go on it.
Okay, and bus. But if you're in your own car, that is the one thing that cannot go across this bridge. So, how do you pay for that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's for every tax they're losing, like they're getting their money. And like I said before, it's like you take a water bottle and it's like when you look at how much money the government gets from each water bottle, because like how many people are paid every step of the way of that bottle, from the design of the bottle to the making of the bottle to the transporting the bottle to the watering factory, then the people who are involved in the water factory of filtering it and filling it, fixing the machines there, then transporting it again to the grocery stores and the people who sell that to you. Every single step of the way, people are getting paid to do these jobs. Those people who are getting paid are getting taxed for the money that they're getting to do those jobs.
In Indiana, do you pay a deposit?
No.
Okay, so we do. So when we buy this, we pay whatever, $2.99 plus a 5-cent deposit. And if we want to get that 5-cent deposit back, we have to recycle this by bringing it to a recycling center. Because just putting it out in your garbage can, your recycling can is not going to get you paid.
Wow. See, they do that in Michigan. There's a bunch of states that do that with cans.
I can tell you, it's Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, Oregon, Iowa, Hawaii, Michigan, California. And right now it's 5, well, no, I think ours in Oregon changed to 10 cents on the first of the year. Also, something that's really strange about that deposit thing is that glass bottles, like, you're so cute, kitty. Beer, okay, a glass beer bottle has a deposit on it. A glass cider bottle does not have a deposit on it. And it's the exact same bottle.
Wow.
And so I just don't get the rules. The rules are so confusing.
And you just got to know that there is an agenda for every one of those rules. Like in Michigan, you will not find a single pop can laying on the road anywhere. You won't see it.
And here you will, but it's less likely than the rest of the garbage you see, because the homeless people here pick up the cans and bottles and they recycle them for money.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same vein is in North Dakota. When we were walking, we constantly looked on the ground for change because there was change all over the place. Here, you're not going to find that because the fucking homeless people snatch that shit up. If you find something, it's rare.
It's really mashed into the ground. It doesn't look like money anymore.
Normally,
Right. Oh, speaking of which, holy shit! I saw a thing on the TV the other day. Now, I've heard of steel pennies because of during the war they were using the copper and they had steel pennies from I think it was 1943. Is that when that was? Anyways, in the very beginning of that year, they were trying different materials. They tried a rubber coin. They tried a glass coin. Now, one of these steel pennies went for like, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars this one penny went for because it had like a weird thing to it. It was actually no, it was a regular penny made that year before it was steel. That's what it was.
Oh.
So it was like worth a whole lot. But the one I saw the other day, it was an intact glass penny.
Wow.
And they say that it's possibly the only one in existence. And they were saying how it might go for tens of thousands of dollars or something like that at auction. And I'm like, it's not going to go for tens of thousands of dollars if it's the only one in existence.
That's very true. I want to look up a glass penny because I've never even heard of that.
Neither did I until I seen it on there.
Why a glass penny cost one collector over $70,000. A story from the Smithsonian 2 days ago.
Huh.
Manufactured in the 40s during a copper shortage. There you go. You know what? Bob knows his shit.
I do.
I also know my shit, but what I'm talking about is actually taking a shit.
I do believe it was 1943, but I could be wrong. Let me put in steel pennies.
Well, that's the year the war started.
43, yeah. So if you have a penny in 43 that's not steel, that one could be worth money. But I don't remember. It was something like that. Because like all of them that year were. So when they first started, some of them got through that weren't. I check my pennies all the time. I found one at Burger King. I think I showed it to you guys. 1903. This thing is 114 years now?
Yeah, wow.
And just think of how many nasty ass people touched it.
Yeah, that's true. I got it my change. And this girl, it's just a teenage girl there. These people want $15 an hour. And yet she gives me this thing, and I'm looking at it, and I look up at her, and she's like, what? I'm like, nothing. It's like, you didn't notice anything weird here? I mean, it's like it had an Indian head on the front, and she probably thought it was Canadian or something. And it's like, but I'm obsessive when it comes to that.
I think you found $1.
I was walking across the streets to like the Apple store, for instance, when she was working one day, and I kind of saw a coin in the crosswalk, and I at first I'm like, it's not worth getting. And then I took a couple steps and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was $1. So I turned around and I picked it up, and I'll be goddamned if it wasn't a silver dollar.
A silver dollar, nice. Yeah, because the dollar coins, I've had so many of the dollar coins because the one place that I worked, you could put in a 20.
Machine?
Yeah.
I didn't say it's a silver. I just said it was a $1 coin, but I don't know if it was silver. But it said $1. So I mean, it was somebody had dropped it and it got packed into the street a little bit. And I just picked. Sure, it's a little bit. It's rough around me. You can certainly tell it's a dollar coin.
Right. The Sacagawea coins are the dollar coins.
Oh, Bob, come on, Sakakawea.
They say it like that here too, DJ.
I know, and I correct every single time I hear it.
I don't know. That's how I always heard it. I always thought it was funny because it sounds like a sack of weed.
Well,
Bob, I take back telling you know your shit.
Sakakawea. North Dakota has a lake named after her, Sakakawea. Now,
probably nobody outside of that state knows that.
Here, it's the Susan B. Anthony one.
So, and the thing nobody understands is if you spell it the wrong way, everyone wants to pronounce the J. It's still a sound, so it's Sakakawea. Yeah, there's my mangled dollar coin.
Yeah, it's kind of rough because I'm sure it's been driven over and rubbed into the ground, but that's it.
Yeah, that one machine at work, I loved it. I mean, it'd give you $2 worth of quarters, and then all the rest was in dollar coins.
He used to get those at.
Well, I worked for a outsourced tech support company, and yeah, I wasn't really paying attention one day, and I stuck a 5 in, fully expecting nothing but quarters, and I got like whatever the change was from that $1, and then the rest of it was gold colored dollar coins, and I'm like, oh.
I love that.
I'm sticking in there all the time.
Well, they should have like in Japan. Japan had a 500 yen coin. The smallest bill they had there was the equivalent of a $10 bill. So I mean, if they had the dollar coins, there's no reason why you can't pay with a larger coin. It's like a $5 coin.
I am someone who used to carry a lot of $2 bills.
I got a few of those.
I'm very. I don't want to carry them as much anymore because I'm hearing more and more stories of people who are like being detained at restaurants for trying to pay with twos, and
Oh my God.
somebody's saying, "Well, that's not real money." Yeah,
Yep.
it is. It's an actual dollar. It's an actual bill. I mean, it's in circulation.
Yep.
I'm trying to pay you money. If you don't want it, I will just leave without my food.
The story I saw on Facebook was about that. It was the manager and the worker. He had a $50 bill and a $2 bill, and he just wanted a couple tacos. They ended up calling the cops on him. And when the cops showed up, they're like, because he said, "I'll pay with a 50." Well, we don't accept 50s. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I got a few of those.
You had gotten a bunch.
I went to the bank at one point. She gave me a sizable amount of money to get a bunch of twos. Because of how many I wanted, they broke out a brand new brick, and I got all sequenced twos.
Never in circulation. Nice. These are two of them because you can see the number ends in a 26 and a 27.
Yeah.
It was so fucking awesome, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, and there's no creases or anything in these.
I want to do it again, but I don't. I think I have to get like $200 worth for them to do that.
Wait.
There was one.
Have you tried here?
I haven't yet.
Well, it could be totally different.
Well, I mean, it could be.
It was kind of one of those. Kind of like a reenactment place. It's got the old buildings, and they do the old. They do it every year. It's a little festival they do. Where the one year it cost $8 to get in, so anybody who paid with a 10 got a $2 bill back for change. We're at the 2-hour mark.
Yes, we are. And I like I said, if you wanted to do what we did, we're already an hour past that. But I mean, how was your throat doing? The only reason I offered is because your throat was bad.
It's hurting pretty bad, but I also got to piss really bad. So I gotta, if we stay on longer, I at least have to head in for a little while to piss. I wouldn't mind killing it though, because it's also freezing cold out here.
Well, you've got freezing cold. You've got to piss. I've been working like a dog this week. I'm really tired, and I'd like to go to bed. So nobody else showed up, even though everybody said they were going to. So
I hate that.
Yeah,
that's one thing that's always bothered me. But
it happens. But
yeah.
So let's. I say we're done.
Okay, that'll work. And then we also then have an entire show worth of taunting to do next week.
Wow.
Because they didn't show up, and after they said they would.
Yeah, that's right. We do.
Do they have a name?
Yeah, and sometime between tomorrow morning and Monday evening, I will probably run the next Greatest Show Fight series, even though no one has given me their stats except for Metal Jesus.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on, man. I was looking at those things, and I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff.
Do you want me to just pump up the ones I think that you would like to have pumped up?
You could do that, or hit them up randomly.
And Tricia can do it because she's random too. But basically, I chose mine based on those are the ones I felt that I wanted to have a little higher. So, and now that there's a system to it, I won't look at, because what I did before we established the system is I kind of looked at everybody's thinking, well, no, we're kind of better in there. We should be better here. We should be better there. And after I looked at it, I'm like, some of us are really off. I mean, some of us are way more powerful than others, and I didn't really notice that at first because I had nothing to compare it to. So
yeah, I mean, if you want to, go to the first stat, max it out. And if there's anything left, go to the next stat. And it's like it just keep doing that till you're out of numbers. I don't.
Well, you'll get to take on Bruce Lee, and I'm looking forward to running.
Nice.
And then we're gonna have one a month, like I said. So we will see you next week, Mr. Miyato.
I do believe so. I don't have my scheduling book thing, but I do believe so. Excuse me. So
let's end on a yawn.
Ending on a yawn. So
yeah, we're old.
And on Wednesday, I will be your age.
Nice. Nice. Well, I'll probably throw a happy birthday at you on Facebook, but happy birthday.
Thanks, man. And the next time you see me, I'll have shaved.
Yeah. The next time I see you, you'll be old.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true too.
You'll be my age. So
She just said, really? Yeah, it's about to raise 20, 25 degrees outside. I'm hot now. Can't have this insulation on my head.
wow.
All right, Bob.
All right, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.